Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome back to the Explainer. Today, we are totally deconstructing a fascinating asset, Litecoin. We're going to peel back the layers, looking at everything from its foundational code to the sprawling and honestly kind of controversial economic networks built right on top of it. Let's get into it. So here's our roadmap. We are essentially peeling the onion today. First, we'll look at the core of Litecoin, then the reality of mining, compare cloud mining versus buying, unpack the referral economy, and finally, look at the technical roadmap. Section 1. The core of Litecoin, the silver to Bitcoin's gold. And this brilliantly illustrates where it all started. Created by former Google engineer Charlie Lee way back in 2011, Litecoin wasn't actually meant to replace Bitcoin. No, it was built as the silver to Bitcoin's gold. The idea was to make something fundamentally lighter, faster, and really optimized for your everyday transactions. Think, buying a cup of coffee rather than buying a house. It's meant to be highly practical money. So how exactly does it pull off that speed? Well, let's look under the hood. First off, Litecoin generates a new block every 2.5 minutes. That is exactly 4 times faster than Bitcoin, which means way quicker transaction confirmations for us. It also uses what's called the script hashing algorithm. Now, ironically, script was originally chosen because it was memory-intensive and quote-unquote ASIC resistant. It was supposed to stop massive industrial mining machines from just taking over. We'll see how that actually turned out in a second. Also, more recently, in 2022, they added MWB. This provides an optional privacy layer to hide transaction amounts, which is pretty cool, and it fully supports the Lightning Network for near-instant micropayments. Section 2. The reality of mining, the 2026 landscape. All right, take a look at this massive number, 104.35 million. That is the network difficulty as of early 2026. What this number tells us definitively is that the era of casual home mining, on a PC or a mobile device, is entirely over. No way. The network has grown so robust and so incredibly competitive that generating new coins requires immense, highly specialized power. Which brings us to a really fascinating tension in the market, perfectly captured by this quote from our source material. The best time to start mining was 10 years ago. The second best time is today. It's a great adapted proverb, right? Mining has become incredibly difficult, highly industrial, and mathematically demanding. And yet people's motivation, the desire for everyday folks to participate and earn these block rewards, is seriously higher than ever. Let's actually look at the incredibly thin margins miners face right now. The total network hash rate sits at a staggering 2.1 to 2.7 petahashes per second. Remember how script was supposed to be ASIC resistant? Well, yeah, today, success requires the exact specialized, noisy industrial machines it originally tried to avoid. And perhaps the absolutely crucial point here, for this to even be profitable, your electricity costs typically must be under 8 cents per kilowatt hour. For most of us, our standard residential power bill completely fails this profitability test before we literally even plug a machine into the wall. Section 3. Cloud mining versus buying, evaluating the options. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how cloud mining presents a fascinating workaround for everyday users. Basically, it allows you to earn LTC by renting a slice of a massive remote data center. So you avoid those steep upfront hardware costs, you keep those jet engine loud machines out of your living room, and you tap into industrial scale infrastructure built where energy, like hydro or solar, is cheapest. Plus, a lot of these platforms use something called merged mining. This means your rented hash power secures Litecoin and another coin simultaneously, giving you a dual income stream for the exact same electricity. Pretty clever, right? But let's impartially compare the reality of these contracts against simply purchasing the asset outright. Look, cloud mining requires upfront contract fees, anywhere from $100 to several thousand, and daily maintenance fees get deducted from your earnings to cover the data center's cooling and power. Because network difficulty is so sky-high, the source material notes the average break-even period for these contracts is currently around 11 to 18 months. By contrast, the source's own analysis points out that for a lot of retail users, directly buying Litecoin on an exchange often just provides better risk-adjusted returns. You completely bypass the headaches of hardware depreciation and those daily operational fees. Moving to Section 4, the referral economy, peeling back the tiers. Okay, here is where we pivot from core blockchain tech into network marketing. According to the source documents, the cloud mining ecosystem is heavily driven by a deeply structured, multi-level compensation plan. They map the community building into 3 distinct phases. Phase 1 is the foundation, where users just begin referring others.
Phase 2 is the Leadership Surge, where users build larger downlines. And finally, Phase 3 is described as the Financial Legacy phase, or the Diamond tier. This is characterized by highly aggressive financial language, promising wealth and stability for top referrers. Let's actually look at the math behind these claims. So the crucial point is that the sheer scale required to hit these advertised payouts is honestly staggering. This table outlines the specific ranks. Down at the bottom, rank A1 requires just 6 direct referrals for a $5 reward. But look up at the top. To hit rank A15's advertised $200,000 reward and a $100,000 monthly salary, the system requires a mind-bending 4 million active members in your downline. Now, we are purely reporting the mechanics laid out in the source here, but the absolute sheer volume of recruitment required for that is just extraordinary.
Furthermore, the system actually includes internal mechanics designed to force continuous recruitment. A big one is called rank blockage. See, commissions are based on differential payouts, meaning you earn the percentage difference between your rank and the rank of the person below you. So if a team member in your downline works really hard and catches up to your exact rank, your payout for their entire leg drops to exactly 0%. You are completely blocked from earning on their progress until you recruit enough new people to level up your own rank again. It's an engine fundamentally designed to keep participants on a constant recruitment treadmill. Section 5, the technical roadmap, looking to the future. Let's move to the timeline and see how this builds. Looking ahead, the network is really built on engineered scarcity. Back in August 2023, Litecoin experienced its last halving, which dropped the block reward to 6.25 LTC. Analysts in the source text consider early 2026 to be this sort of golden window where mining difficulty plateaus before the next major supply shock. And that shock is coming for sure in July 2027, when the network will halve again, drastically cutting the block reward down to just 3.125 LTC. But it's not just about scarcity, you know? The network is actively evolving from a simple payment system into a much more complex ecosystem. The roadmap includes LITE-VM, which uses zero-knowledge rollups to finally bring smart contract functionality directly to Litecoin. That's a real game changer. We're also seeing the rise of LTC20 inscriptions, kind of similar to Bitcoin ordinals, which is driving up on-chain activity and, crucially, generating a lot more fee revenue for miners. Plus, institutional adoption is totally on the horizon, with major asset managers like ARK Invest officially filing for spot Litecoin ETFs. Which leaves us with this final, incredibly important question to ponder. We have this foundational technology moving rapidly towards smart contracts and institutional ETFs, but we also have an immense multi-tiered referral economy completely dependent on mining yields. So will the technological upgrades and fee revenue of Litecoin be enough to sustain literally millions of cloud mining participants when that block reward gets sliced in half in 2027? It is a fascinating tension between code, commerce, and community. That is all for today's explainer. Thank you so much for learning with me, and I highly encourage you to keep questioning how these complex systems really work beneath the surface. Catch you next time.